welcome back to the hive. We are getting ready to do our second inspection here. Don's going to take the strap off of the top of the hive. We put that on there to keep him a little safer. We've had some past experience where we had some hives that were knocked over by, believe it or not, horses. So we're not sure what kind of critters will be out here trying to get in there, but we felt safer putting the ratchet strap on there. So Don's gonna smoke them. I don't think we're gonna need it. He's been checking things out all week and he's feeling pretty comfortable. But we've got a few goals today. One of our goals is we want to see what they've been doing as far as comb and making comb, which is where they not only house the honey, but they also, the queen will lay her eggs and they will feed the larva, or feed the eggs, put them in special material. Don's got our new hive tool. That's actually, it's not new, it's new to these videos. We purchased that hive tool a while ago because we thought it would be a little fancier and had a lot extra features. And then we lost it and now we found it. So we have our hive tool back. So we're gonna check out our comb, but I'd like to remind you that these bees are not starting from scratch with comb. We actually had, the frames we had in there had some comb on them. And so that gave them a starting point, a little bit of a starting point. But here's what we've got going on. They look like they're doing a good job bunching around in the middle. So I'm guessing we're gonna find some.
So these three frames had comb on them.
Those are the three frames that they're on right now. In the middle are the ones that had comb on them. Our second goal is we're going to look for some eggs to see if the queen is laying. And then we're also going to add some more sugar water to our feeder. I'm not really sure how much more we're going to need to do the sugar water, but we'll find out. It gives them an extra boost on comb production, gives them extra energy. I know that they'll get more energy and food out in nectar when the flowers all start blooming, but we're just giving them a boost because we're pretty early in the spring right now. Oh, look at that. They are pretty busy in there. Any sign of the queen? She's been marked with a was it green marker?
I believe it was a green highlighted marker.
Yeah, green highlighted marker. So it looks like they're cleaning up the comb.
Right here.
We're also looking for drones versus the nurse bees.
How big he is. The drones are males.
The drones are the males, and they're the ones that are gonna go out and mate with other queens. So we do have some drone production, which is good. That's the sign of a healthy hive.
That's necessary.
Very necessary. But as you can see, they kind of start they start preparing things in a pattern. So they're all kind of grouped together and they're going to work their way down the rest of the hive. Now I know Don saw a lot of pollen being brought into the hive this week. So we're going to look and see if they might have pockets of pollen too. Not just the pollen pockets that were on their bodies when they come in, but they'll put the pollen inside some of the comb for food source. We got a lot of activity there too. It sure looks like they're cleaning up and doing a lot of stuff inside those comb pieces, the comb sections. He's got another drone in there.
Alright, so there is fluid in here. I don't know if we'll be able to get you to see it.
I'm going to try and zoom in where you're at.
I don't want to zoom too much. There's liquid in here.
So there is liquid all in there. So they're getting those ready
They
for the
are
queen to
working.
lay some eggs in there. You see any? I see some white dots from here. Is it just a glare I'm getting? I guess not. Yeah, I'm just getting a glare. I was kind of getting excited that I thought I might be able to see some eggs from here, but what are we pointing at?
He was working inside. See the butt up?
Awesome.
Right here. Can you see? Can you see it or no?
Yeah. I'm holding the camera's pretty shaky when I get that close, so I'm not going to try that. Don will maybe go back and zoom out of the video and grab some pictures out of the video when he goes back to edit this. Looking pretty good. It looks like they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing.
They're working really well.
Now, we had a hive in the past where we started from scratch. So I don't know if you can see on those frames, see the pale yellow part
There
of...
she is.
Oh, he found the queen.
Right here. She's running
Oh,
now.
I see her. I actually got a glimpse of her.
So she's laying.
So are there eggs in there?
Yeah, I pushed them off. I don't want to.
All right. So like I was saying, if you pay attention on this side of the frame, see the pale yellow right by Don's hand? That is basically the plastic that the comb or the frame comes with. And then they pretty much build up from that. So it's kind of a starting point for them. We were able to acquire some frames that had comb on them started. So it gives them a little bit of a head start. And we were hoping that would, like I said, give them a head start, help them with their production a little bit faster. They'll use less energy because they've got more comb that's already there, but they still have work to do. Oh boy, look at that one. We have a full frame of bees right there. That's a full frame of bees right there. I'm getting bumped, so I'm going to back up a little bit. What do you see in there?
They're very concentrated. They're working very well.
So the phrase busy as a bee, you can see where that comes from because they're not even paying attention to Don.
There's jelly in there, whatever they're getting.
I need to look up these terms. So they create a comb and then they put some jelly in there, which has nutrients for the queen to lay an egg.
I could get that one up in my left, right
Gotcha. See all the shiny stuff right there? That's the jelly they're putting in there to get it ready for the queen to lay her eggs. After the queen lays her eggs, they finish preparing that comb and then they'll cap it. And that will basically nourish the egg during its formation while it becomes a larva, and then it'll work its way and crawl out of the capped cells. So right now, they're preparing those for her to lay eggs. Hopefully in some future, hopefully by our next inspection, we will have some capped brood.
The idea is she lays in a circular.
She lays in a circular pattern, he's saying. I'm not sure if you guys can hear him. I've got a microphone on, so. And we're, like I said, they're...
Sorry, ladies. And then in the corners, they'll have honey.
So the corners will be for honey, which will help feed them.
We haven't been in that one yet. It looks really good. So we've got four frames being worked on currently.
Awesome.
And
They're pretty big.
working on the empty ones, but they're focused.
Well, like I said, I started to say the phrase busy as a bee, as you can see where that comes from, because they're all pretty focused in their job and what they're doing right there. And you got a few of them working this, but see that comb has already been built out. That's the kinds of frames we provided them so that they could just get started with that. So they're even working on this side too.
No.
Oh, that isn't one of those frames?
Maybe it is. It just looked whiter than these. See how bright it is?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a handful. I can come out there.
No, just don't move. Get some
Get the
close-ups
ones on
there.
The top, the profile, the sun hits them, and that yellow spot is kind of cool.
Awesome. He's pointing out more drones.
The drones, from what I just read yesterday, are important. You want to make sure you see there's several stages, but the drone is one of the ones you want to see.
So Don's saying that he read the other day how important the drones are to the hive. So the majority of these bees are female. Go girls. They do all the work. They're the nurse bees, and they help clean up the hive. The drones basically have one purpose, and that's to fertilize.
It looks like clean up too.
The queen, and also I'm sure they do a lot of help. I'm sure the ladies let them do some help around the hive. But they
good in the kitchen.
But they also do they bring in the pollen too? The drones?
I'm not sure.
We need to look that stuff up.
That's the good part of the drone. The good part about this is you come up with the questions. Yeah, so they're definitely, it's thriving.
Our hive is thriving.
And important, very little smoke used.
So
It's a calm hive.
It's a calm hive. Don used very little smoke to get into this hive, which is nice. He's been out here all week watching the hive.
See this bee in between the two? Measuring the distance. See if I can stretch her out a little bit more. There she is. There she's hanging on. Look, they're holding on to her. Right here. Can you see it?
I'm
Not really.
not really, but you'll pull it off of the video.
I broke them.
So Don has been out here all week, just kind of hanging out, watching. He hasn't opened the hive during the week, but I think they're getting used to him, getting used to his smell, and getting used to knowing that he's not a threat to them.
That's the idea.
And that is the idea of him being out here. So now we're going to put the feeder back in, and we made... the feeder has got little grooves along the side for the bees to climb up and out of the liquid. But we didn't fill it up. I said we probably did it halfway, and they completely dried that out. So they are using the sugar water. So what we do is we take sugar and water. It's a half and half solution. So for example, 4 cups of sugar to 4 cups of water. Heat it up on the stove, melt it really good, and then you let it cool, and we put it in these containers to hold them while we're waiting to get into the hive. A lot of what?
See all that? Hope you got that. Something happened over here. Yeah, I got activated.
Yeah, they're getting a little nervous. They look like they're getting a little nervous on the outside over here. I don't know if you want to try smoking them. But where your fingers are, they kind of keep crawling around where your fingers are. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So we're going to dump our sugar water.
First place we had a hive. Interestingly enough.
We went and bought this water. It was a half-gallon jug of water. The name brand is Deer Park, which happens to be the name of the town that we had our very first hive in.
Very thick. 50-50.
So it's a 50-50 solution, pretty thick. And we're going to fill that up. And now there's other commercial brands of sugar water that we can use, and we actually have some protein patties. Actually, it's a jar of little protein pellets that we can make patties out of. I'm gonna experiment with something else with the protein. But all right, so that's the inner cover. Lots of fun tools you can buy in the bee industry, and what the orange thing Don's got in his hand right now is called a spacer. So what it does is it kind of measures and gives you an evenness between the frames. So there's such a thing called bee space, that you want to make sure the bees have enough space in between the frames to move around, to make their comb, and do all the fun things they have to do. So this spacer helps you decide what bee space would be best to use. And believe it or not, if you put a lot of space in between a comb, between frames, they will build the comb all the way out so that the frames touch each other.
All right, I'm pushing that.
Then you'll get some thick comb, which is sellable and usable, but it also makes it hard to separate and pull out frames when you need to do that. So Don's going to create the bee space now. There you go. Our handy spacer comes in, our little spacer comes in handy. So we're going to put the cover back on, nice and gentle. Try not to smash any of the bees. So when a bee stings or gets smashed, they give off a pheromone that lets all the other bees know there's danger. What do we got there?
Slug.
We got a slug. Get that guy out of there. So what, like I'm saying, they sting or they get killed. They give off a pheromone that lets all the rest of the bees in the hive know there's danger, and then they'll start coming after you. So that's why normally when you get stung by one bee, more will come after you, because they've sensed that something happened with that bee. So we try not to squish them, because if you squish them, they tend to get a little annoyed, and then they tell the rest of the hive, and then we've got to settle them down. So we'll put our little ratchet strap back on there. Now, the area we live in, we don't really have to worry about any major predators. What I was reading is I think our biggest predator out here, it would be the skunk.
We don't take no chances. Here
But we're not going to take any chances. And we also have a lot of storms out this way too. So better safe than sorry. We've got the ratchet strap holding the hive down onto the cement blocks. I know Don's talked about getting some field cameras out here, not only so we can watch them, but also so we can kind of keep an eye on predators. And we've got these hives on cement blocks on the grass. We also have to start worrying about mites, so we're going to probably going to buy some bags of pea gravel to put down under there to help keep the mites away. But Don's come up with another suggestion. Over here we've got this used to be a burn pile, and we burned everything in it, except now it's got nothing but chipped up it looks like brick. Looks like brick or terracotta. So maybe we might consider moving the hives over here. It's a thought. All right, on to the next hive. All right, here we go into hive number 2.
Deadpool.
This is Hive Deadpool.
Actually, Hive 1.
Actually, the first hive that we started, they were started on the same day, but we put our package in that one first. So that's Hive Deadpool, and that's Hive Webhead. Webhead has been very nice to us. Even when we were putting the package in, it was nice and calm. Deadpool was a little crazier, but...
Aggressive.
What was that?
Aggressive.
Hive Deadpool was a little more aggressive.
We did some things differently. I don't recall what they were.
So again, we're going to check on the comb, see if they're getting things ready for the queen to lay some eggs, possibly see if we have any eggs. We didn't in the other hive, but that doesn't mean anything because they were still getting the cells ready. And we're going to add some more to the feeder. I do believe that's for, there's a certain kind of feeder that you can hang. And I think that would be in the front, and you'd turn it around and you'd hang it in the front.
Wasn't my fault.
So you might want to smoke those babies.
Right,
So
we're dealing with Deadpool.
Hive Deadpool, we're going to smoke.
Okay.
He's prying that open. So what the bees do is that they seal all their entrances with propolis. Kind of make it a little more waterproof. Keep other pests out. Yeah, they've been busy. Did we have all that comb on the lid when we put it in?
Was there comb on that lid?
No.
That looks fresh.
Does it?
Yeah, we got a smear right here.
Okay.
A smear. You got to smear it. That looks amazing.
So let's see if we can get a close up here without upsetting them. So again, we got, looks like we got 4 frames they've been working on in the middle there. The same concept as the last one. We did give them some frames that had a little bit of comb on them to get a head start. We got empty feeder.
Smaller.
Well, it's good to know that what we're giving them, they are using. Now, you would think by looking at it that those frames would just hang there and dangle there, but like I said, they pretty much seal everything up. And there's propolis and possibly some honeycomb holding those frames together. And you got to be careful. You don't want to hurt them or crush them when you pull them out. Oh, look at that side.
And he's like, man. He didn't get me though. I got a dog.
I'm getting bumped.
So, this is fresh comb. They built this.
Yeah, so look at they're already working on it. That's one of our frames that didn't have any comb on them. Up in that top left corner where Don's thumb is. I almost called you Tom Thumb. Isn't that silly?
We had no frame. we had nothing on here when we started.
So up by his thumb, if you turn that around again. Don, turn it around, hold it there for a second. Up where Don's thumb is right now, there is new comb.
There's 3 with their butts in the air. Can you see?
No, not from
Right
here.
where my thumb was at. See?
You'll have to zoom in on the video later. Deadpool doesn't like me too close.
Deadpool's going to be an aggressive hive. At least until the next set comes up.
Right. So that hive tool is useful for prying those frames off, but if
We're kicking ass though. This is almost
if
filled.
they're on the edge there, you don't want to crush them.
Very heavy.
So Don says we got a heavy frame. It looks pretty well. This is one of the ones that they got a head start with, but it's almost filled. So they're busy working. Any sign of Queenie?
Not yet. Got a drone.
We got drones.
Got a drone.
They're definitely on the outside of the hive at the entrance more than they were with Webhead when we were in it. The outside of the hive with Webhead, they were barely out there.
I smoked the top. Perhaps I should have smoked the bottom.
So you gotta do everything with nice, slow, even motions so you don't threaten them. They're all over him.
How's that for showing you?
Yeah, they're all over you.
Yeah. They don't like how I put their queen in the beginning. I'm inclined to agree with you.
So this hive, we put the queen in a little differently. And Don seems to think that made a difference with the way.
It was less. It was less novice and more. I didn't have a suit on.
He said that was less the way we put the queen in was less novice and more he didn't have a suit on. Now, what do you think? All that comb at the bottom of that frame, is that something we should be scraping off?
I'll let them do it.
Yeah.
You better probably put it in there. Drone, it's pretty solid on there. Drone.
He's got drones.
These are almost filled. So.
Yeah, it looks very shiny from here, so it looks like that they're getting that all ready for some egg laying, which is a good sign. Now it's really important when you take them out that you put them back in the same way you take them out. We are disturbing them, but we're not disturbing them too much. Trying to be as gentle and careful as we can. Well, you got a lot going on that one too. Still looking for the queen. We also learned that when you're checking your frames, it's really important that you go side to side the way he's doing it. We used to just flip them up and down, and we found out that that's not necessarily a good idea. So turning it around side to side is more important.
Right here they've capped.
We already have capped? Is it capped honey or capped brood?
I can't see.
Well, it looks like they're just capping some honey there.
It's an early cap. That might be fruit too.
So the whole process of making the honey involves them putting them in the comb.
So there's a lot over here, whatever that is.
And they're going to, and they prepare it, and there's a whole level of humidity that they get it to. They've got the science down, and then they cap it when they're done. So when we see a whole frame of capped honey, then that would be normally.
Tell them how they destroy something. Tell them how they destroy a predator in their hive.
Finishing when they cap the honey. When we get a frame of capped honey, that's when we will cut it. We'll harvest it, but we're not going to harvest anything out of these because this is where they're setting up their hive and their babies and their brood. And Don wanted me to tell you about when a predator comes in, how they'll all attack them and get the predator out of there. We do have a few predators that we have to worry about in our area, but not quite yet. Mostly we have wasps that we're gonna have to worry about them, but they'll all gang up on a wasp and kill it. It would be fun to catch something like that on video. I'm sure you could probably YouTube that and find somebody's caught that. And what they do is that they gather around it and form a huge ball, and they roll and roll and roll until creating heat, and until the heat kills the predator. We actually watched one. I'm getting bumped, so I'm backing up. We actually watched a YouTube video this week that a lady had a ball in her hand, and they were actually killing their queen because their queen was failing them. But they just roll and roll and roll and roll until the predator is killed. It's kind of fun to watch. No queen?
I'm pretty sure that they've done over here. They're preparing it for her. So I think what we see at the bottom is what that thing eats. So now they put, what we saw in the one, where it looks like propolis, they've covered that.
Okay.
With jelly or something.
So they are. Looks like they are getting those cells ready for the queen to lay some eggs. So those light ones we saw are probably the ones that are going to have eggs laid in them.
We've never done this before. We've never looked.
Yeah, our past hives, we'd never gone into this much detail. We didn't really know what we were doing. You know, we still have a lot to learn, but we do know that what this right now is a sign of we got a healthy hive going on.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job.
This one's excelling.
Hive Deadpool is excelling. Well, when we opened it up and saw that there were 4 frames of bees on there, that would be my first clue that they're a little more active. I am getting bumped.
Might be on here. Maybe too far away. I think we're in the game.
Don says he thinks we're in the game.
She's laying. I do believe that's what you see right here. Whether she's doing it or that's what's next.
So it looks like they're preparing the cells for her to lay eggs in. We don't see any eggs just yet, but it is kind of early. We did just install these packages just a few weeks ago, but they are actively getting things ready.
Interesting, we got, I don't know if you'll be able to catch this, but we got the butts in the air, striped red and black. We got a butt in the air, the yellow stripe it's there, but you can't see it. It's all black.
We got butts in the air and their yellow stripes. Yeah, it looks like those bright yellow ones, that's the pollen that they're bringing in. So they'll put the pollen in those as their source of food. It's like their little refrigerators. Yeah, up in the upper right there. See the bright yellow? That's all pollen. That's all pollen. So they bring in the pollen and they store them in those little holes until they need them. Holes, cells, I should have a more professional term for them. All right, well, Deadpool doesn't really like me here. I keep getting bumped.
Deadpool doesn't like me.
Pardon me?
Doesn't like me either.
Our neighbor dogs. Barking to say hello.
This is what we put in.
Yeah, that's one of ours that they're actively building comb off of. And they've done that much.
They built comb and put honey in it.
I'm backing up. Can't seem to find the queen, but that doesn't mean she's not there. Queens are really good at hiding.
If she wasn't here, we'd know they'd be prepared.
Yeah, if she wasn't there, we would know they wouldn't be making these cells, and they would be getting ready to swarm.
Yeah. Doing a good job here.
Yeah, you might want to step away and and smoke.
I'm good. I'm gonna shoot.
I understand. Well, I'll be recording from this angle here because they're not happy with me. So we're gonna put the feeder back in and fill it up for them.
Crushed a lot. I'd rather not have. Miss that. That's not gonna work.
We're going to use the bee spacer again and space those frames out. Put all of the frames back in. Last piece that goes in is the feeder.
Side note, smaller feeder.
This one's got a smaller feeder than the other one.
That feeder looks like it's meant to be left for weeks.
And here we go, filling it up. Again, that's our concentrate of sugar water that we made ourselves. It's a 50-50 solution, so
They may have had to work harder.
roughly 4 cups of sugar to 4 cups of water. Melt that on the stove, and then you let it cool off, and
I didn't boil it.
there you go.
I didn't bring it to a boil. I just slowly.
Yeah, you don't bring it to a boil, you just slowly melt it. And that was almost going to fill it up. Well, there you go. So that'll give them the extra energy they need to finish what they're working on. It is early spring, so there's really not a lot of nectar sources out there right now, which is why feeding them helps. Now we also have a big bucket of bee protein that we purchased. I'm going to experiment with that. I think I'm going to put that in little glass bowls and just put it on the side of the hive and see if they dig into that. I'm also worried that by doing that I might attract predators to that, but the only way I'm going to find out is if I try. So I'm going to give it a shot. But adding extra bee protein will give them some extra nutrients that they might need to get through what they need to do. I originally purchased the bee protein to make bee patties to overwinter our bees. But I thought I would give it a shot and use it here and see what happened if we just used it in a container. So there you have it. Now we're going to tighten up that ratchet strap and leave these guys alone till next week. Don will be out hanging out with them during the week. Maybe he needs to spend some more quality time with Deadpool.
You mean like Spoon?
Maybe Spoon with his bees. Well, there you have it. Thanks for joining us.